Hello, my name is Harry Plotke, and I'm a graduate of St. Mary's College. I graduated in 1959. The film you are about to see consists of home movies that I took while a student at St. Mary's. I arrived on campus in August of 1955 and graduated in the spring of 1959. So this 20-minute film covers that period. Since these images are almost 50 years old now, they were originally on 8mm film. Now it has been transferred to the DVD format. If you were here at St. Mary's during that period or not, I think you will enjoy this old-time movie. It gives you some insight into what life was like back then. When I arrived on campus for freshman week in 1955, it was my first look at St. Mary's College. It looked great. It was even better than the pictures I had seen in their brochures. I was captivated by the beauty, the bluffs, the large campus, the spaciousness, and well-kept grounds. This is a pathway that bordered by huge pine trees separating the gymnasium and Frontenac Field. Incoming freshmen arrived on campus a week before the rest of the students. Now there's Stewart, I think Gene Stewart, playing horseshoes during freshman week. There's Thad Tren. He had a broken arm back then. And what it was an opportunity for the incoming freshmen, that's me in the green, an opportunity to get oriented and get used to the new surroundings before the upperclassmen came. Now this is a creek in the back of Frontenac Field that was dammed up, and that's where we used to swim. We didn't have a swimming pool, and a beautiful waterfall that it ended up showing. Now, if you climbed up the ski slope and the path that led to Julius Point, you got a panoramic view not only of our campus, and you can see there are a lot fewer buildings back then, but in back, across the Mississippi River, those bluffs, that's Wisconsin. So as I got up higher and higher, you got to see a little better what St. Mary's campus was really composed of. And that was our bonfire that night, which we had camaraderie. They did have some placement tests that they gave us too. This is Mickey Finn. He was actually owned by Brother Patrick, but Brother Patrick lived in the faculty residence and they didn't allow pets. So Mickey Finn stayed with us. And what a dog. The bigger stick, the better. Mickey liked a big stick. I used to plan my classes so my second period was always free. I could always go check my mail and take Mickey Finn for a walk out to the creek. That's if the creek wasn't frozen. Now this is Parents' Weekend. That's my mom and dad in front of Our Lady of the Lilies. Mom and Dad came up on a train from Chicago, Burlington Special, that carried all the parents that wanted to come up for Parents' Week. And so I gave them a real show of the campus. This is the first time they had seen St. Mary's. And you see, we wore suits back then. And I not only showed them the front lawn and the various buildings, but here we are going through the cornfields. I gave them the whole tour, and they enjoyed it. Yeah, Dad had to pay the big bucks to send me here. I don't know exactly how much, but I think it was less than $1,000 a year, tuition, room, and board. But he had to borrow the money to send me here. And this was a structure out in the back of St. Joseph's Hall where the student brothers lived. It's overlooking from Terrace Heights, the old highway. 61 came right there, Gilmore Road. As I said, I showed them the whole campus. We got worn out, but that was good. They wanted to see where I was at. And it was actually a beautiful day. I think the weekend was in October. That was Sacred Heart Seminary there in the background. And this was the new dorm at that time, Aquinas Hall, which now I think is Vlasny Hall. It's neat to see the old cars. That's passing Vlasny Hall again. Here they were building the new science building, which I think is Hoffman Hall now. I had Dr. Hoffman for some German classes. This is a Park Hotel. Like I said, nothing but the best for Mom and Dad. This was downtown Winona back in the 50s. And it may look like it's an antique auto show, but that's the way it was. Here comes a Studebaker, I think. And Mom and Dad were leaving on the St. Mary's Special back to Chicago. If you look closely, Mom has my laundry tin. She's taken it back full of dirty clothes so she could mail it back to me. Usually she included some treats with the laundry. And that's my view from Fourth Mary's. That's where I was assigned. I didn't have any knowledge of students coming to live there, so I was assigned St. Mary's Hall. This is later when I moved into the barracks. And there's Pete Duzinski, Dominic Dulce, looks like he's looking for some trouble, and Jim Neal, and Jerry Orth, and Ken Ortman coming back from dinner, Tom Mulvaney. We always had a good baseball team. Max Moloch was their coach, and he demanded perfection. Now there's Dave Deese practicing bunting. Dave made the majors. He was a pitcher for the Kansas City Athletics, I believe. All the dandelions on the field. That's probably where our library is now. And this is Beverly. That was my girlfriend up for a dance, and she eventually became my wife, playing with Mickey Finn. Now, one of the sports that we all enjoyed was flag football, and it got pretty tough. I mean, you wore flags, belt with flags that you were supposed to use to tackle somebody, but there were a lot of injuries. It was intramural sport. There's Hank Iris. And long pass, Harry Boshinski going in for a touchdown. You can see a mean-looking group. We didn't have an indoor hockey rink. The hockey rink was outside. And if we didn't have a game, you could use it for social skating. And if they did have a game, we flooded the tennis courts, and we would have social skating there. The girls probably from St. Teresa's. This is Tom Klein. There's Jim Garden cracking the whip. I think they're holding each other up. And there were some speed skaters. Here's Joe Camilla. He looks like, and it is, his first time on skates. I cracked the whip, and we got some girls on the end, I guess, into the boards. Mickey Finn is always around. Now, this is part of Olympic Days. Olympic Days is where we competed one hall against the other. Every hall competed in various sports and games. This is the tug of war. Now, the tug of war, it's pretty simple. You just pull one way and the other pulls the other way. But the seminarians always used to wear ski boots, and they would win this consistently. So we learned after a while, in subsequent years, after getting beaten, we'd check out the ski boots from the intramural room, and we were a lot more competitive. Some years it'd be muddy, some years it'd be freezing, and some years it'd be snowy. Now this is push ball. You put this 5-foot diameter ball in the middle of the football field, and one team would try to push it to one end zone, the other team try to push it to the other end zone. And after a while, you realize you weren't going to get anywhere pushing. You'd have to strip some of the guys off from the other team. And there weren't really any rules. And as you might expect, there was a crowd in the infirmary after this one. And then once it would get loose, I mean, there was no stopping it. So it'd be an elimination contest. There's Brother Fabian, Brother Leonard, Brother Fabian again. And, this is arm wrestling in the lower gym. That's Skemp Hall now, where we had a lower and an upper gym. The varsity basketball games were upstairs, and this is down and what would be the basement. And that's where we had the handball courts as well. Some of these, I didn't have floodlights. That's Brother Fabian playing ping pong. He was a great guy, a strict disciplinarian, but he was a buddy. We used to play chess regularly. Now, this is volleyball in the lower gym as well. And as I was explaining, the first three places would win points for their hall, and then the hall that won, had the most points, would win the Olympic Day trophy. And you would have so many activities going on, you'd have to have, maybe some of your best basketball players also played volleyball, and so you had to determine how you might best strategize to win where you could. Mickey Finn with a dog from one of the local farms, having fun. Now this is cross-country race. You started at the powerhouse across Frontenac Field, and then across the creek and up the ski slope. And at the top, you were given a ticket to prove that you were there, and then you returned. Now this was taken with a telephoto lens. I stayed back at the powerhouse taking these pictures. And when you were still going up the ski slope and you realized the front runners were already headed down, you were hopelessly never going to win. So they started tackling guys coming down the hill. There were no rules, really. And here are the guys returning as Mike Mateague. In this, they gave points for the first 6 places. There's Fred Andrus. He represented our hall. He came in 7th. And Joe Camilla out there to greet him. There's a seminarian that came in first. Off to the infirmary for him, too. Now, handball, I didn't have any floodlights here, so it's pretty dark, but I lived in the handball courts. Pete Duzinski and I won. There's Pete here, and I think he missed that one. Pete and I won doubles every year, and I won singles. I was probably playing handball 6 days a week back then. Now here's another tug of war. There's Pete, Tom Mulvaney, Wally Wisniewski, Joe Scrappo, Art Reuter. See, we got the boots now. We're going to hopefully do better. Art Reuter. There's Wally. Louis Soder. Pete Duzinski in the funny hat. So we're trying out with the boots. And there's LaSalle Hall. Yeah, we didn't win the tug of war, but we got better. This is Harry Boshinsky, our organizer. Like I say, it took some strategy in order to compete in all these games. This was my section mate, Art Reuter, posing as if he's studying. And he said, turn off the camera or I'm going to stand up. So I turned it off. There's Pete Duzinski. That was my roommate. And the ever-present Mickey Finn. She was great. Any season, any time of the day, she was always a great companion. Now, these are the frozen tennis courts that I mentioned. And we had war surplus skis in the intramural room. They're long skis and the boots. Back in the 50s, they were state of the art. And we would cross-country ski. That's me there, past the horseshoe pits. And there's Pete Duzinski. This is his first time on skis. He was more of a fisherman hunter. But we got him out on skis that day. We're going past the hockey rink. That's Fred Andrus. Good job, Fred. He's going up the hill up to, we had a ski tow, but you had to go up a ways to get to the ski tow. There it is. It's a rope tow. The engineering club built, there was an engine, pulleys up at the top of the ski slide. And you could take, Pete said he'll go up halfway and see what happens. Yeah. Worked pretty good. Here goes Fred Andrus. Hold on, Fred. Well, he made it. Yeah, Pete, I said, went from about halfway up, and he said, there's nothing to this. I'm going all the way to the top. This is me coming down from the top. Here comes Pete dragging his poles. Oop. Well, that was the end of his ski career. Quite brief, but he sprained an ankle there. And Mickey Finn not only was a great buddy, but she had puppies. That's Tom Weidenkopf playing with a squirrel pelt. Oh, the puppies found something a little more interesting. It's Dick Rock's laundry. He's going to town to do his laundry. He's Dr. Rock now. It's probably a squirrel pelt from something my roommate Pete shot. Dennis Rasmussen. Terry Hibbig. And Dick's going off to do his laundry. Here's Dennis O'Malley, short sleeves in the winter. I guess that was the only clean shirt he had. Now, Fred Andrus, a Good Samaritan, shoveling the sidewalk for us. And there's a troublemaker, Hank Iris. Hank is going to do a little shoveling of his own, I guess. It's amazing what people will do when they know they're being filmed. You can see we had some pretty severe winters, but actually when the sun had come out, it'd be really nice. There's Pete Duzinski clowning around for the camera. He was a great roommate. We were roommates for 3 years, and then he became a hall counselor, and that split us up. But Pete died in wool fisherman, hunter, and that's why he isn't at homecoming for the 45th reunion. He's up in Canada fishing. Some things don't change. These are northern that he caught in the Mississippi River. Now this is a meeting of the barracks. There's Tom McKenna, Jerry Ort is running the meeting, Steve Crowell, Thad Tren, Bob Jastrab, Keith Hansel up there on the roof. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little movie. It gives you a little feel for what life was like back in the 50s in St. Mary's College.